What's up, Zero people on YouTube? So, I made another video the other day, but I didn't post it because it was kind of bad. Talking about, I was talking about the ending of Attack on Titan. It just didn't come out good. Even for a shitty video of me driving, talking about stuff, didn't come out good. A lot of pausing. I didn't really know what I was talking about. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about, because I'm seeing a ton of videos, posts, Facebook articles, Twitter articles about the kid that was killed in, was it Minneapolis? Daunte, right? Regardless of whether or not he was resisting arrest, what have you, resisting arrest, he had the warrants, whatever. I'm going to say this: I support the police in all matters, because for the most part, they're there doing their job and they're doing it properly. For this instance, no. This lady, she fucked up. She fucked up really bad. In a previous video I talked about how I used to be a 911 dispatcher. And a lot of this, and even with Floyd's death and the trial that's going on with that now, a lot of this, especially this case with Daunte Wright, can be easily traced back to horrible training and a person who shouldn't have even been a cop to begin with. I don't have an issue with female officers. I don't have an issue with them. I know when I was a dispatcher, there was 3 female officers on their police force. Female officers are dicks because they need to prove. They feel like they need to prove. The one was nice. The other one, and I never met the third one. The one was nice. The other one was a total dick. She came in one time. I'm sitting at the desk, and she asked me to run something through something, and it was literally like my second day there. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm new. I'm still training. I don't know how to do that." And she looks me in the eyes, stares at me, gives me this scowl. "You never tell an officer you don't know, bitch. Fuck you." I gave her this face, "Fuck you, bitch. You bitch ass motherfucker. Don't talk to me like that, motherfucker." And then I said, because I'm sitting off to the side. I'm staring at the screen. My supervisor's right there talking on the CAD, and the other girl's sitting there to the right, and then there was a third desk where the second person who was working. There were 4 computers. There was 3 of us there. He was training me, and there was 2 other dispatchers, and she walks up to me, who's not sitting in front of a CAD, who's not sitting, I don't have the headset on, I'm just sitting there, I'm reading the procedural I was reading procedure booklet. It was a binder like this thick of all our procedures. To the side, like this, taps me on the shoulder. Can you run this through this? I don't know how. I'm sorry, never, yeah. But when it comes to what happened with this kid, it really goes down to training. Training and play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and unfortunately, the prize he won was a eternal rest. Nobody deserves to be, whether they're evil or not, to be killed like that in the street. And accidents happen. I don't think the woman did it on purpose. Like I said, I think it was really bad training. But you hear from all these celebrities, especially black celebrities, they when they're crying on TV. When I was 10, my parents gave me the talk. Well, clearly you guys aren't giving them the talk anymore, because my parents, I got the talk. My dad, dude, right when I learned how to drive, he's like, look, if you ever get pulled over, all you gotta do, hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, click the lights on. When he comes over, leave your hands on the wheel, say, sorry, officer, how can I help you? And he'll say, license, registration, my papers are in the glove box, I'm going to reach over there now. That's all you got to do. Done. Hand the papers, you don't get pulled out of the car. You don't whip out your phone, you don't start shuffling for your phone to take the video so that you can be on Facebook and Instagram and post your video. Look what the cops did. Racism. It's not what you do. Now, once again, like I said, clearly this woman didn't know how to fight. Now you gotta remember too, when it comes to police training, these guys are only in training for 6 months. It's a 6-month program. That's a big problem. That's a really big problem. That should be like at least year-long process. Like, seriously, if it's like with the military, when you got the Marines go in and they, for what is it, like 4 months, they go and they train, and it's non-stop all day, every day, and you literally don't stop. That's one thing. And then you got to keep going back every month to re-up your education. That's one thing. But these guys, they go for 6 months. And girls, they go for 6 months. There's a day, I don't know if it's just a day or if it's every day, but I know from my friends who've gone into the police academy, and when I was looking into going, because that was my goal, there's a day, probably multiple days, where they just train you how to holster your gun and pull it out, so that you have muscle memory, where you're just sitting there all day, for a whole day, 6 hours. So that you know. Taser and a fully loaded handgun feel completely different. I can pretty much guarantee that. If anybody tells you otherwise, I'm pretty sure they're lying, or they've never held a fully loaded handgun. In a previous video, I said that I've only fired a lever action rifle. That is true, but I have held a fully loaded handgun. It's heavy. It's not heavy, but it's got a weight to it. Pretty sure a taser that's just 2 wires and 2 bolts and a firing mechanism is not that heavy. Also, they're bright yellow. They're bright fucking yellow. A lot of the training that stuff that I learned too, I got my degree in criminal justice in 2010-ish was when I took my last criminal justice class. I had to do, it took me 5 years to get an associate's degree, not because I'm retarded, but because I couldn't do a full course load with work and everything. Life, work. There's a law called a fleeing felon law. I don't know if it's still in existence now, but it made a lot of sense then. So you're not allowed to shoot someone who's running away. So, in the video you hear the woman yell, taser, 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 because she knows she's going to shoot the taser, and she wants everyone to know she's going to shoot the taser. And so that they know that when he goes down, they don't have to touch him, because taser. For her to yell taser 3 times, pull it up, aim it, and not see that it's not a bright yellow taser and it's her hand, and she didn't pull from the right but she pulled from the left. I get, you can make the argument that, oh, it was the heat of the moment. The guy's running to his car. He's clearly he's clearly a distance away from the car. They have him handcuffed. Now, obviously, they didn't want to put him on the ground because that would have been another thing. But like I said, she had enough time to pull from the left, because that's where the gun. Pull from the left, draw it, taser, 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 and fire. Now, right here, you can see this gun that I'm holding is not bright yellow. So, and then she said, oh no, I shot him. Like, oopsie. Yeah, oopsie, big oopsie, you shot him. Now, he shouldn't have run, that's true. It's coming out now that, his arrest warrant was delivered, or the reason why he got a warrant is because his ticket or whatever he was summoned to court for was delivered to the wrong address, which I can fully understand. For the 6 months I was a dispatcher, the amount of times people came in to pay a parking ticket and then were told they had a warrant out for their arrest, and I just got it 2 days ago. My best friend, he got a ticket in town, the next town over. It was 2012, November 2012, and he wrote the court date for November 2013. So 2012 came, November 2012, because that was the next available court date, and he didn't go, obviously. So the police came knocking on his door, his parents' door. He didn't live at home, his parents. Knocking on the parents' door. They came to my house looking for him. I was like, I haven't seen him. I said, I don't know. He ended up just paying a fine. Came down, they processed him because technically he had a warrant out for his arrest. He paid the fine, and that was it. It was a $20 fine because he just brought... See, that's the other thing. That's why people don't like the cops. Brand new car. He had literally just bought, not a brand new car, but a brand new used car. He had the license plate papers and the license plate paper in the front. We were waiting. We needed a drill to drill the holes because for some reason the way the license plate was, it didn't fit. So he had it in the windshield, and you could see it. It was in the windshield. It's the front license plate. It's in the windshield. Pulled him over. So he was driving his car without the proper license plate. It was clearly right there. You could see it from a mile away. He got a ticket with the warrant, and then he worked with the DA and the prosecutor rather, not DA, not district attorney. And he got it down to a view obstruction, like this mask hanging from the thing would be a view obstruction, like a $30 ticket plus a $20 court fine. So I ended up paying like $50. But it's that's why people don't trust the cop. When you pull me over, oh, you got expired registration. Okay, well, it's a pandemic. I don't know where was it, in Michigan? I don't know the rules in Michigan. Those facilities might not be open. People still got to go to work. And then to find out that he's got the warrant, yeah, that's different. And then, some people say, oh, well, they should have just let him go, and then they could have gotten him later. Well, you don't know that. He could have gone home. He could have ran. I mean, it's $20. Well, what's the ticket versus, that's what some people are saying. I can see that argument, but unfortunately, cops have to do their jobs, and one thing, like, my professor would always, he was a former chief of police, he would always say is, you can't retreat. You can't retreat, you can't leave. Once you've come in contact with someone, you have to stay. So you can fall back if they're firing at you, but you cannot leave. And that's something that needs to change too. A lot of this, like, oh, we should abolish the police. Well, you're stupid. That's stupid. Should police train for a year? Absolutely. Should police have to every other weekend go back for increased training? Absolutely. Should they not work 4 days for 12 hours? Absolutely. Should they not have 12-hour shifts? Absolutely. Should they hire more cops? That's all you gotta do. But the problem is they don't want to spend the money, but they'll spend it to send $4 billion to Pakistan so that people can be transgender in Pakistan. Put that $4 billion into the police. Or whatever, $90 billion, whatever they ended up sending over there. Take that money, hire some more cops. Make it so that they only have to do a 9 to 5. And then, whatever 8 hours is, and then an in-between schedule. It's not hard. 7 to 7 is not a good time. That was our guys, was 7 to 7. And then there was, like, the overlap for, like... And then there was an hour, because they have to debrief, and then the shift starting had to do a brief. And then you have to write reports. And then, some of these guys, one time, the one woman, she pulled over a bus because the bus ran a stop sign or something. Like, the New Jersey Transit bus blew a stop sign. She had to pull over that guy, the bus driver. She had to get the names and information of everyone on the bus, because that's just the rules. And then she had to come back to the department, write a report, submit the report, just for the bus driver to get a ticket for running a stop sign. Now, I don't know how it works in other towns, but my town, there's only 4 cops on the road at any given time. It's a big town. It's like, it's like a half an hour ride to go from one end to the other. Like, it's a pretty big town. You can't expect 4 people to cover the whole town. Especially, like, okay, given a scenario. Well, I still have some time. I got like 10 minutes left. For some reason, I gotta figure out that. Got a call about a down wire. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the wire's down in 4. 4 comes, he's dealing with the wire. 911 call comes in 4. 3 would come to cover 4. So now 1 and 2 are watching 1, 2, and 3. Well, 3 is in 4, and 4 is dealing with 4. Then another 911 call comes in for 2. Now 2 is covering 2, so now 1 is watching 1 and 3, and if anything happens in 2, 1 has to go to 3. Or 2. It's very confusing. So, of course, when shit hits the fan, shit hits the fan. There's a fire in 1. There's a fire in 1. The 911 call in 2. An alarm going off in 3. The wire in 4. A 911 call in 4. And this is all a matter of minutes. Like, it's literally like that's something that always drove me crazy. Shit happened. It was just for 10 minutes. You got 15 calls, and then nothing for like 4 hours, and then 10 fire. Okay. What are you gonna do? The lieutenants had to go out. The captains had to, like, literally everyone had to go out. Where was I going on this tangent? I don't remember. The kid. Don't run. That's something you don't need to do. It's hard being a cop. Training. They need more training. More people on the road. That's where I was going. This woman clearly was one of those people who shouldn't have been a cop to begin with. There was 3 kinds of people in my department. The guys that belong there, big, jacked guys, could, read you the laws off the top of their head with no problem. Could, we're great people. We're super nice, super helpful. The dickbags, who were an offset of the guys who belong there, there was 4 kinds of people. The third was the real scrawny, 5. The real scrawny people who didn't belong there, really, at all. Like, I understand it's discriminatory, and that's why, they abolished the height requirement. But the 5'4", 120-pound kid soaking wet who has 0 muscle mass, if you pull me over, I might take my chances. Just saying. The women, the 3 women, and then there was guys that looked like eggs. No muscle, no shoulders, and huge guts. And there was like young guys that looked like that. Nobody liked. There's the dickbag guys who go in there and they have their god complex because nobody's above the law and I'm a cop and pulled over everybody. There was one guy. They knew him. We knew him. We knew when he was out writing tickets. He's supposed to be sitting there watching for people speeding, but this guy, 103 Central. Go ahead, 103. Restaurant Depot. Got expired tags for handicap sticker. Really? Like you're gonna write? This motherfucker would go to stores. Whenever he was in the 4th quadrant, which was all like the shops and everything, Target, Best Buy, like all that stuff. He would just go around in the parking lot, expired ticket, expired plates. He'd find people with their handicapped people in the handicap spot. If it was like expired, like a day, he'd write them a fucking ticket and leave it on the fucking thing. Handicapped people. Why do you think people don't like cops? You're writing tickets for handicapped people that are probably going to Target to get like diapers or some shit because they keep crapping themselves, and then they gotta come out. They're already handicapped. They're already on disability or old. They don't have money to just hand you a fucking ticket. This guy, like, fuck you, dude. Like, that's why nobody liked him. And then there were other guys that, they'd hand you their personal number. It's like, hey, if you ever have a problem, call me and I'll come. Specifically me. He's like, don't call no one. Call me. And, if I'm working, I'll come. And if I'm not working, I'll come. Why am I here? Oh, back up. And, and then you got the same thing, like the really good guy, and then the guys who look like eggs, who, my dad knows the mayor, so now I'm a cop. I think that's what this woman was. I think this woman's dad knew the mayor. She was a fuck up. Didn't have a good job, didn't have a career. Said, make my daughter a cop. This is a pretty chill town. The amount of people in the town that I worked with that were like that, there was a guy I left when he was interviewing. His dad was a cop in the town. He, took the Monmouth Junction Sheriff's, whatever the fuck it's called, test. Passed, sure, that's fine. I passed too. It wasn't hard. It's not like it's a hard test. It's basic math. This guy, he had barely a C average. He barely graduated. He happened to lose a ton of weight. Got in shape. Got hired because his dad was a cop. There's another guy. Got hired this exact same time. Coast Guard. 4 years. Worked at Fort Knox. He worked somewhere else, like in the Coast Guard, and then he got and then he moved over to Fort Knox. He worked in Fort Knox. He worked somewhere else. He came down. They hired him back in our hometown. Same time. What's the difference there? What exactly is the difference there? If you can't see it, there's one guy who's been through hell and another guy who took a test. Not saying that, if I had gotten that job, I would have just been a fat asshole who got that test. Well, at the time, I wasn't a fat asshole. I was 175 pounds. Could run a 6-minute mile. But then, after you become a dispatcher, you get fat. It's one of the problems. It's a big problem. No, it was before I got fat at the same time. But once your dream job is like, oh my God, I really don't want to do this anymore. I've been working my entire life to have this job and it's not good. You kind of don't really care about working out every single day. But yeah, this woman, she probably had no business being a cop. And there's a lot of cops like that. And a lot of times you'll see in these situations that it's somebody who had no business being a cop. God, this shirt. I can't wear this shirt. It makes my titties look huge. It's not even like my whole titty, but it makes it look like I got these huge ass titties. Anyway. I got massive titties. Jesus. Anyway. This is a serious video and I'm talking about my massive looking titties. Gotta cover them shits. That's why I wear this coat. It's cover my titties. It's like 75 degrees outside. I'm covering my titties and I got 5 minutes left on my video timer. It was tragic. This kid shouldn't have died. This woman's going to jail. Don't loot the Walmart. There isn't a pandemic of black men being shot by police. This is where I'm going to get banned. I agreed with everything in the beginning, so that when YouTube goes through it at the end, they're going to be like, oh, you fuck. But, play stupid games, and you win stupid prizes. And unfortunately for this guy, he chose to run. And unfortunately for this woman, she chose the left and not the right. And I'm pretty sure, I don't remember, because the guys, when I was there, they had just gotten tasers. I'm pretty sure it's not like a gun holster. I think it's just clipped on to the belt. So it's not like she had to. So she kind of knew she was clicking in and pulling out to get the gun. I don't know. Like, there's so many things going through your head when something like that happens. I mean, like, if you've ever been in a fist fight, it's the same kind of. You get tunnel vision, and you see that guy, and that's part of training, and, clearly she wasn't very good at it. Unfortunately, she's going to lose her job. She's going to go to jail, and she might not do jail time, but she will lose her job. But one thing I found out, and that's also fucked up, the PBA. If you get fired, they can rehire you, and it's not an issue. I didn't know that. They'll make a statement that you've been fired, and then like 3 months later, you can just come back, and the PBA's like, yeah, you're back, dude, you're good. I didn't know that. That's fucked up. Like, some of like, obviously, if you're found guilty, maybe. I don't know. This woman, she's not gonna be back. And if they find out that she is back, they're gonna riot again. But the Walmart, shouldn't have looted that Walmart. It doesn't make people look good. Like, I'm seeing posts from people, pray for black men. Pray for black men. No, don't pray for them. Teach them to not run from the police, and they won't get shot. Like I said from the beginning, I believe, for the most part, that most cops are out there to do the right thing. She just had a really fucked up day. She made a bad mistake. She will pay for it. And you don't need to burn down Walmart because, if she didn't hit him and he got away, he was still in handcuffs. from what I can remember, he wasn't getting very far. So, but what if an old lady was crossing the street? What if it was in the middle of the night? What if there was a mom and her daughter walking across the street and he ran them over? You'd be saying the exact opposite. Why didn't the police take him down? Why didn't they stop him before he did this? Or actually, it wouldn't even be news. You wouldn't hear about it. Yeah, so that's it. You want to hear me ramble some more? Like, subscribe, hit the button. Do all that stuff. I shaved, so I look like a penis. Peace out.